Hey guys, today I'm going to show you guys how I built these raised beds and also how I finished them. This year's garden is very much like how we started gardening for our very first garden 10 years ago. This was our first garden 10 years ago in Los Angeles. They say start where you're at. Well, this is where we were at, and this is how we started growing food. It's also the first time where we said, hey, wouldn't it be cool to find some land somewhere and grow more food? That would never happen. We loved having the cedar raised beds. We felt like it worked really well for us. After I got off from my office 9-to-5 job, I would come home, build these raised beds one by one. We had no idea how to grow anything. I just knew that, hey, I wanted to make raised beds, and this was the first step on figuring that out. It was also our first step in creating that homestead mindset in the city. Oh, look at this. The lettuce bed.
I got some Swiss chard. I'm doing arugula right now. I'm hoping to squeeze in spinach in here, but if not, I can always weave it in somewhere else.
You think this lettuce is gonna need to be shaded?
I think it would extend the growing season of our lettuce if we had a shade cloth. No matter where you're at, I think if you had like this special shade cloth that allowed the plants to stay cool but still got some sunlight, I think it would extend the growing season.
Hey, there's another tape measure. I got two. I think I left this last night. For the cedar fencing, I like to cut off the dog ear fence part, which makes it about 71 inches long. You can leave them in, but I just think it looks a lot nicer and it doesn't look so much like a fence. After I cut all the dog ears off, I get 3 of the fencing and I cut them right in half. These half pieces are going to be the 2 ends of the raised bed. I have these DIY plans made for you with a material list. You can find that link down below in the show notes. For the ripped 2x4s, we need 10 15-inch long pieces. And then you need 2 of these. These are the end pieces, and these are gonna be the length of the cedar. And then we need 2 long pieces. These are for the side walls. All right, all pieces are cut, and this is enough for 1 raised bed, and I need to make 7 of these. To put this together, I'm using waterproof glue and screws. I'm pre-drilling everything because if you don't, this wood can crack. Now you do the same thing for all 4 corners of this raised bed. Now this one's done. We need to make 2 of these. For the end pieces, you do it the same way. To seal the outside of these raised beds, I'm using a traditional Japanese method called shusugiban. By charring the wood, it is naturally resistant to insects and moisture damage to the wood. If I maintain these beds and I do it correctly, these woods should last over 80 years. And it's also natural, and we like the way it looks. Along with the DIY plans, I also write down all the steps on how to seal this wood and the steps to fill these raised beds with soil. Now after you char the wood, you knock it down a little bit with the sandpaper. I'm using this eco-friendly poly to get the outside of it, but you can also use tung oil. I've also used teak oil or linseed oil. I'm just putting this oil on the charred area, and this is going to be on the outside of the raised bed. I'm not doing anything with the inside. The finish I'm using is just a clear finish, which is gonna give it a little bit of glossy look, and it'll also seal it from the elements. I've done raised beds before, and I've really just used pine. On our previous property, I built a few raised beds, and that pine lasted, I mean, we left after 6 years and the beds were still going strong. Now to put these together, I'm choosing not to glue them together. I'm just gonna put in 3-inch screws, 3 of them at each corner. This was a fun project for me, and hopefully give you guys some ideas on how to build your own raised garden beds. And for 55 bucks, guys, I'm not sure if you can get it much cheaper than that unless you find wood laying around or you repurpose something. I like the black charred look on this wood. I think it looks very modern and new. If you want to see how we filled these raised beds with compost, I'll put the video right here. And if you want plans for how to build these raised beds yourself, these are DIY step-by-step plans. I'll leave that link down below in the show notes. Thank you. Try to get it in one take. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one.